Justice is the social norms providing guidance for the people in their dealing with one another, as a standard against which action are evaluated, and as a prescription of requirements that people act justly. Criminal justice is a field of study which deals with the nature of crime in the society as well as analyzing the formal processes and social agencies which had been established for criminal control. Positive law theory. No justice exists apart from what people creates or mandates. There is no independent or abstract standard against which the actions of a people or man law itself can be judged. Social good theory. Proponents of this theory agree that justice is more than that one finds in positive law, that there are standards or concept of what is the best interest of the society, and that man-made law can judge against these standards of concept and blocking. Natural right theory. Natural right philosophers agree that natural law exists. They disagree on what is it say or requires. Substantive justice is that which is concerned that how best to locate, distribute, or protect the substantive values of society. Procedural justice is that which concept with how the law administered, in other words, mechanisms or processes are used applying the law and making decision in specific cases. Law is the role of conduct made by authorities for the governance of men. Common law. It is a type of law that is established by particular cases as compared to law that use statutes as its guide. Statutory law. Composed of law which are produced by the country legislation and which are codified and incorporated by lawmaking body. Case law made by justices in cases decided in the appellate court, especially by the Supreme Court. Civil law is a means of precept that determines of regulate the relation of assistance, authority, and obedience between members of a family, and those that exist between members of the society for the protection of private interest. Criminal law is the branch or division of law which defines crime, threats, or their nature and provide their accomplishment. Law enforcement. This occupies the front line of the CGS because it is regarded as initiator of the system. Prosecution. This pillar take care of evaluating evidences and formally charges the suspect before the courts. It conduct arrangement and trial. Correction. This is responsible for the incorporation of rehabilitation of convicted person to prepare for eventual reintegration in the community. This help the penitent offender lead a new life as a responsible member of the society. Criminal justice system is a process referred to the ordinary progression of event from the time that person arrested or taken out from the community, investigation, prosecuted, sentenced, punished, rehabilitated, and eventually returned to the community. Defense of alibi. This claim by the defendant that he or she was in another place when the crime occurred and therefore could not have been committed it. Defense against insanity. This is a claim that the defendant should be exonerated from criminal responsibility because he or she is suffering from mental incapacity. Defense against instigation. In instigation, a public officer or a private convicted in induce innocent person to commit a crime and would arrest him upon after the commission of the crime by the letter. Defense of juries. The defense is based on the claim that the act was the result not of any intent on the part of accused, but the threat of loss of life, limb, or loved one. Defense of consent. This defense is common in rape cases. This is a claim that the victim consented to the act for which accused stands charged. Defense of violation of the provision of the Bill of Rights. This is invoked in the state of its agent violated the right of defendant in obtaining evidence to prove the letter's guilt. Code of Hammurabi. This means principle was the strong shall not injure the weak. Erope. This is the Greeks impressive from the law enforcement. The 12 tables. This is the first written law of Roman Empire and were drawn up by the 10 wisest men in Rome. Praetorian Guard. These are highly qualified members of the military formed by Roman Emperor Augustus to protect him and the palace. Urban Cohort. This is established by Augustus to patrol the city of Rome. Village of Rome. Also established by Augustus, initially signed as firefighter. Justinian Code. Justinian one rule of the Eastern Roman Empire collected and exist Roman laws. Policing system. Tone is the forerunner of the world tone. Under the system, all able-bodied male from 12 years and above resident and required to guard the town and to prevent the peace and order, protect life and property from harm or disturbance. Huanggai. This made by call as the beginning of what we call today as citizen arrest. Franklage system. This is the Norman modification of the tithing system. Sheriff system. This in England at the time of William Norman divided England into 55 military districts known as the sheriff. Justice of the peace. This replaced the sheriff during 14th century at the first involved in judicial matters and law enforcement, but later became strictly judicial. Watch and ward. This is a system of law enforcement that was used to protect citizens 24 hours a day. Legist Henry C. The law of King Henry I. During this period of offenses were classified as against the king, and individual policemen were considered as public officer. Police and the citizens have the broad power to arrest, and the grand jury was created to inquire on the fact of law. Magna Carta. This is signed by King John on June 15, 1215. Thief takers. They are private England citizens with no official status who were paid the king for every criminal they arrest. Bow Street Runners. This is the first England detective unit. It was established in London by Henry Fielding in 1750. Modern policing system. This period came to the limelight when a bill creating the Scotland Yard was passed by the Parliament of England. 1712 Carabineros de Seguridad Publico was organized for the purpose of carrying out the policies of the Spanish government. January 8, 1836, by virtue of royal decree, the rural police were established each town. February 12, 1852, Guardia Civil was organized that has a dual function of a soldier and policeman whose duty range from the suppression of brigandage by means of patrolling unsigned territories, detention of petty and local insurrection, the enforcement of tax collection. 1901. The Department of Public Instruction was concerned by peace and order. July 18, 1901. Organic Act 175, an act provide the organization and government of an insulation constabulary was enacted. July 31, 1901. Manila Police Department was organized as a first chief of the Philippines Commission, Captain George Carey. August 8, 1901. Captain Henry T. Allen was officially designated as the first chief of the Philippine Constabulary. 1935, the American Police Force withdrawn the advent of the Commonwealth. 1939, the Manila Police Department introduced the bicycle patrol. December 8, 1940. Coltores declared Manila as an open city. January 2, 1941. The first element of Japanese Emperor Army entered Manila, the Japan Military Police. Kimpetiat Tokol Torres is custody and rounded the member of the Manila Police and ordered them to cooperate. February 7, 1945, General Douglas M. Carter returned to the Philippines. The Battle of Manila ended. March 17, 1954. Automobile patrol was conducted in Manila. September 8, 1966, Republic Act 4864 was approved, known as the Police Act 1966, and created the Pulcom, now the Pulcom. September 21, 1972, Proclamation number 1081 was declared. The martial law was imposed throughout the country. August 8, 1975, PD 765, known as the PCINC law, was created during the martial law era. March 22, 1985, Executive Order 1012 provided measures to improve the administrative and operational framework to maintaining peace and order at the provincial, city, and municipality level. July 10, 1985. Executive Order 1040 transferred the administrative control and supervision of the NAPOLCOM from Ministry of National Defense back to the Office of the President. December 13, 1990, Republic Act 6975 was approved. It is known as the DILG Act of 1990. March 31, 1991, President Corazon Aquino named General Cesar P. Nazareno as the first Director General of the Philippines National Police. February 25, 1998, Republic 8551 was approved. It known as the Philippine National Police Reform and Reorganization Act of 1998. Crime prevention. Crime prevention is simply defined as the elimination or reduction of desire and or opportunity to commit crime. Crime detection. Through crime detection, the police are typically the first component of the justice system to deal with crime. What is crime prevention? Crime prevention is an act which deals with the identity, the location of the offender, and gather evidences of his guilt in crime proceeding. Apprehension of suspect. Apprehension of criminal while the crime prevention fails. Search and seizure. Search warrant is an order in writing issue in the name of police of the Philippines signed by the judge and directed of the peace officer commanding him to search for person, property and bring it before the court. Preliminary investigation. Preliminary investigation is in the inquiry or proceeding to determine whether there is sufficient ground in engender well-founded belief that a crime was being committed and the respondent is probably guilty thereof and should be held for trial. Jurisdiction is the site or location to hear the determine a case. Venue, it is the site or location where the case is to be treated on the merits. That's all. Thank you.